So in essence, when I had first watched this movie, I had expected this movie to be just another typical football movie. However, with the exception, I was completely wrong, and I had believed in the misconception of my own thoughts. And my own thoughts had led me astray to believing that this was another typical, football movie. However, it had a tendency to focus more upon the concept of a spiritual awakening of the team in itself, as it had shared its philosophy and its vision to breaking down the racial barriers that had existed at the time during the 50s or the late 60s, where they had a segregation between the African Americans and the white people at that time. And it was very much motivational. It was something that was incredibly phenomenal for a movie in itself. It was focused more of a style of between a documentary and an autobiography of one person in particular, his name was Tony Nathan, and he was like a rising success in football. He was this typical young black kid in Birmingham, Alabama, and he had risen to his goals and aspirations, and consciously, to a degree, he had an aspiration to changing the world, to being able to sharing a positive influence and a light of influence with the rest of the world, and to break down the social injustices, the inequalities that had existed at the time, that when he was in high school. And it showed this evangelist. He was a Christian preacher, a reverend, who had awakened spiritually for an entire football team, and that in itself was, honest to God, incredible. And the same philosophy that, on behalf of myself, including Jen, how we incorporate the principles and virtues of our philosophy through the influence, for a positive influence that we share through this inspiration project of this channel, is the same purpose as what God had intended to creating myself and for someone as Tony Nathan. And I thought that was absolutely incredible. It was a very emotional, very inspiring, heartfelt movie that I had come to love. I found myself, honest to God, throughout the duration of time of watching a movie, my eyes just started swelling up in tears so much. And it was that emotional, it was that empowering, and it was very much influential as it was inspiring. And it had taught so much about different morals of different subjects, such as the inequalities of human nature and the errors that we had once lived upon. And now, in the modern age of our technological society, of our human civilization, we find ourselves to coexist peacefully among one another as human beings. And this is the purpose of this channel in particular, was for us, and it's for myself, to creating videos in hopes to share our revelations, to share our aspirations, to hope that our visions may come to light, to being able to become a bonding in our collective consciousness of us. So the investment in the responsibility that should we make within ourselves is a journey of a constant infinite possibilities that we need to work against, to work within ourselves the accomplishment of our success in this journey of consciousness, to rise above our obstacles, to rise above the vast oceans of darkness that ultimately confines and manifests within us every day as human beings. And throughout time, we need to work towards how we should spiritually, or at least if you do not believe in spirituality or in God, then we therefore need to find ways of how we could improve ourselves for the positive. And only for the positives that should we influence ourselves upon. And this movie had changed my perspectives in so many ways. A lot in which I already live my lifestyle by. However, I've been a Christian, I've been a spiritualist and a philosopher for quite a few number of years. And I'm a little bit of every little bit of religion, if that makes any sense. I'm a Wayseer spiritualist, and I absolutely love this movie so much. It's just like it really brought out the positive aspects of human nature, and it showed a positive correlation in existence of how towards the middle of the movie and especially towards the end of the movie, of black people and white people in correspondence working together as human beings. And that's most vital perspective to consider to living our philosophy. And through this inspiration project, I dedicate and devote the greater aspirations of our passions in order to cultivate the awareness of knowledge and cultural awareness, the light that can be found within every culture, diversity, the practice and principles of morality and virtues. And our philosophy is quite simple. It's only to serve mankind, for humanity, to allow it to become a greater success in terms of becoming more positive. And this is the reason, the purpose of my existence, of my obligation and my duty, to why I'm alive and breathing, is so that we could ourselves bring the light to the world in hopes to reach our aspirations and carry on the valor of our legacy in each day that we might exist and we breathe for. And we hope to see one day our aspirations come to light. Our dream, our goal is simple, is to channel this project throughout the airwaves of the world, and for the world to ultimately hear what we have to say, and hope that our videos would change the world. And as simple as that, just to change the world for the positive. So, thank you so much for taking this opportunity to watching this video. I hope that you yourself had enjoyed watching this video, and please subscribe to this inspiration project, and please share our videos with others. And thank you so much for watching. Namaste, God bless, peace and Yahshua. Farewell for now, and see you guys next time. So this is one of the greatest aspirations. This was a phenomenal movie, and one of the main characters that I love, and I would love to meet, an opportunity to meet, is Sean Astin, who played Samwise Gamgee from the Lord of the Rings sequels. He was a best friend of Frodo Baggins, Elijah Wood. And this movie was so awesome, as I strongly recommend that you are to watch this movie. And yes, I am a believer in God. In the Bible, where I had mentioned, even though I walk throughout the valleys of the shadows of death, I will fear no evil. God, for thou art with me. For thy rod and thy staff, for they comfort me. And no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every tongue in which rises against me in judgment thou shalt condemn. For this is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and his righteousness is of me, said the Lord. So God bless everyone.